Morning, Jimmy Carroll speaking, 70, not far from Moscow. Yesterday I listened to the YouTube video of Jordan Peterson, one of the leading intellectuals of modernity, where he explained that there is no war between Russia and Ukraine. It is just the civic war inside the West. Russia is part of the West, and Russia is struggling for the democracy, for the Jewish, Christian, and even Abrahamic civilization. Russia is pro-liberty. Why? Because, well, half of his speech was dedicated to the Afro-American woman in the Supreme Court of the United States. Jordan Peterson thinks that this is awful. This is the end of civilization. Quote, how do you dare to limit the possibility of finding the most competent person only by Afro-American women? It's only 17% of the American population. So the possibility of finding most competent person inside these 17% is close to null, zero. And at the same time, Peterson says, these people, liberals, are against mentioning of sex in documents. They are we are even anti-gender, gender neutrality. But this is illogical, says Peterson. You must choose. Either you're interested in the sex or not. Where was the mistake? And so he suggests to Ukraine, because Hungary, Poland, Russia, India look at the West and they're in shock. How do you dare to betray the logic, the rational thinking, the tradition? And so he suggests to make peace between Ukraine and Russia. For example, conditions, let Ukraine have the obligation not to enter the EU or NATO in the future 20 years, for example, or 20,000 years. No difference, I think. Where was the mistake of Mr. Peterson? Different people are struggling for the Afro-American women in the Supreme Court, have been struggling, and against the gender-oriented classifications of people. These are different people, different trends in modern life. Why he unites them? There is no reason for this. This is the basics of democracy. Different views under one umbrella of political correction, tolerance. Well, democracy is the word. And one more. Maybe it's really unjust to have a quota for women, Afro-American women, in the Supreme Court. One Afro-American woman died. Now let's have another Afro-American woman. Is it the quota unjust, anti-democratic, anti-freedom? Yes, but when the Supreme Court of the United States consisted only of white Protestant men, was it a sort of quota? Yes, sure. It was the quota for white persons, white men, white supremacy. What's the difference between this quota for white men and the quota for the Afro-American woman? The difference is that quota for the Afro-American woman is conscious quota, is something which is reflected, which is thought beforehand. And the quota for the white Protestant men, when all Supreme Court consists only of white men, this quarter is, or better to say was, unconscious. No one thought that this is unjust. They've simply laughed. You cannot think about African or woman or Catholic in the Supreme Court. It's nonsense. They are not real people, you see. It was the quarter. And these sorts of unconscious quarters are around us. Just look around. Jimmy Krotov, Safanchur, not far from Moscow, but close to the kingdom of God. Bye.